Welcome back to the Final Corner podcast. It's another F1 race and it's another win for Max Verstappen, as always these days. Joined this week by Tom and by Nick, who valiantly held the fort while I was away the past 2 weeks.
Just about.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Evening.
Evening.
Good to have the man back.
Yes. Oh, it's so nice. It's a relief that you're here.
Thanks. Yeah, at least someone's happy to hear me. So, the Holland Grand Prix, Netherlands Grand Prix, what is it actually called? Zandvoort Grand Prix?
The Dutch Grand Prix?
Dutch Grand Prix. That makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
There was a lot of drama and a lot of talking points, but was it a good race? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
It's not a track that's going to produce good racing, is it, in F1? But
Never.
there was enough in the race to kind of keep it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some mad conspiracy theories, which I'm sure we'll touch on, which are always fun to see.
Yeah, but to me, when they're the main talking point, it perhaps reflects badly on the race. You know, it wasn't, oh, well, look at that overtake or that crazy incident. It was, oh no, there's this whole shenanigans which we'll cover. So.
It was another race that promised more than it delivered, even during the race.
Yeah, at least they didn't go, oh, it's going to rain soon.
Yeah, indeed.
I would say just watching a Formula 1 car drive around that track is epic for me. The banking and the tightness and the narrowness and the weird lines. It must be amazing to be there in person. At the end of the day, they're asked to deliver a race.
Yeah.
So there was big news in the drivers' market going into the weekend. The contract arbitration board met on Monday and decided that only McLaren had a valid contract for Oscar Piastri. So it'll be Piastri and Norris line up for McLaren next year.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, lol, Alpine, what were you thinking?
The text from the board was quite interesting.
Yes.
It didn't show Alpine in a very good or professional light, in all honesty. There was comments from Mark Webber as well saying that basically Alpine missed every single date that was set to initiate contracts.
Yeah.
So the kind of spin that Piastri was untrustworthy has kind of been proven not to be true.
It's very unfair on Newton driving.
Yes.
And it just makes Alpine look like a bunch of liars with their whole, yeah, it's definitely going to be winners. So Piastri's tweet, which I'm sure was well vetted, is now looking very level-headed and sensible. And like we touched on, I think Alpine was too busy chasing Alonso, forgot about Piastri. Then Alonso went somewhere else, and they went, "Oh no, we've lost both."
It was a shambles, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And there's nothing I wouldn't pin any element of blame on Piastri or Webber or anyone involved in that McLaren deal. They got it locked down appropriate. It was going to look like he wasn't going to have a drive for 2 years if Alonso signed a 2 years deal, so you've got to go elsewhere anyway. Although apparently there was an offer of a loan deal to Williams, which they spurned. That's the only element that's a bit like, well, he did have a drive, kind of.
But once again, that was all in theory.
True.
Nothing had been put down on paper. Well, signed paper.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was what was it called? A terms of something sheet? I can't remember, but it'd all been written down and said this is what we're probably going to agree to, but no one put forth an actual contract.
I see. And McLaren did. So.
Yeah.
McLaren did apparently the day after the British Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes the timing of Ricciardo's things interesting from their side, I suppose.
Yeah. He was asked about that the weekend and he just said he wasn't sure what the actual timeline was, about how things happened.
Well, basically they've signed a replacement before they've had a conversation with him, I think.
Yeah, before they've agreed to terminate him, they've already got someone else in that seat.
Yeah.
And there's rumoured about $50 million they're having to pay Ricciardo to get rid of him.
It does sound about right.
So they could have belief in Piastri if you're willing to blow that amount of money to get rid of a driver.
Yeah, that's desperate moves, isn't it? For someone relatively improved in Formula 1. I'll say that again, actually. Extremely unproven in Formula 1, but very well proven in junior
Yeah.
Formula. It's done a lot of Alpine test days, but never in the same spec year car, I believe.
Yeah, which is interesting because he is due to test the Alpine later this year, but that was before all of this happened, so I'm guessing that probably won't happen.
No. Have you seen Nick De Vries'
No.
drive? Is it Aston?
Yes, he's trying to drive every Mercedes.
Yeah, hasn't he driven the Mercedes and the Williams already this year?
He has, yeah.
That's interesting.
Now, there's a guy that I think we spoke about last year saying he should be in F1. He deserves a
If
shot.
he doesn't get it this year, it's over.
But where's it going to come? Because the only space now is, well, Haas aren't really going to take a punt on him. It's only really going to be Williams. And I'd hope that Williams would look at him, but it just looks like there has never really been a clear route for
Who would
Williams to get
Williams go for at the minute, though? If you've got funding, which they might do at the minute thanks to drilling capital, right? Do they need the Latifi funds? So if you let's say you're going to jettison Latifi, Logan Sargent, he's on their he's in F2 with like a Williams livery and stuff, and he's American. But at Spa he crashed on his own, and at Zandvoort he crashed on his own. Not having a good year, back half of the year, so I don't think he's ready for it. So maybe De Vries is an option.
No, I think he's a good prospect, but yeah, it depends. Especially if they get a similar thing to what they had with Russell, if it's has Mercedes links, and that sort of thing. But
Cut price engines.
yeah,
I think that's a go. I think we need to keep our eyes peeled on that one.
Wasn't there talk earlier in the year of Mercedes trying to dump Williams from their engine supply because they had to drop someone?
Because they were going to go.
that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that all went a bit quiet, but Mercedes said they had to drop one of the teams.
Yeah, because that would make sense for the whole Piastri to Williams thing that didn't happen. Because it would strengthen the ties between Alpine and Williams there.
Right, I reverse that my De Vries prediction.
Yeah, well, did Alpine have anyone else that could really step in? They've really just been back in Piastri the last couple of years.
They've got a few. Jack Doohan, I believe, is
Right.
Alpine, and there's someone else who's higher up as well in the F2.
Yeah, Jack Doohan.
I can't think who it is.
He has got to be in Formula 1 soon. I really hope. When you watch Formula 2, I know he's not fighting for the championship, but his progression through the year has been rapid in his first season. And so I think he took his first win at Silverstone, his second win at Budapest, but they were both like the reverse grid thing. But at Spa, he took his first feature race win. And I think he was on the podium in the sprint as well. So that was really like, okay, he's here. And he's definitely Alpine back, Jay, you're right.
Yeah, he always looked a class above when I saw him in British Formula 4.
Really?
Years ago, back on the Toka package. Not necessarily the best overall driver. He wasn't winning the championship, but he looked the most aggressive and most exciting driver on the grid.
It's a cool story. His dad was a 5-time MotoGP champion, and then hopefully his son makes it to Formula 1. It's like with the Sainz, who's a rally and rally raid driver, and his son's in Formula 1. Different disciplines, but still at the pinnacle.
Well, someone else who's a famous father, Mick Schumacher, he looks like he's in a little bit of trouble for next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
He's pretty much out of Haas. That's kind of widely accepted, and no one really seat for him is going to be Alpine. Ocon keeps talking up that he wants Schumacher there, but would Alpine go back for Ricardo? Would they try one of their own youth drivers? Nico Hulkenberg? Like, there's options there for Alpine. It's just hard to see why they would pick Mick over anyone else.
Well, it's looking like it's going to be Gasly, but the rumours on that one are that Red Bull will not let him go unless they can get Colton Herta a super licence.
That's what Horner said today on Motorsport.com.
I'm not sure if that's true or not, or if that's just another tactic
is
to
indicated.
get the Herta super licence because he doesn't have the points for one.
Oh, true. Yeah, leverage the whole thing of good PR. I'm not even sure Herta's the right choice as well either. But anyway, do we have to get someone from America just for the sake of it? Probably. We've got 3 races next year, but still. And I think he's a great driver. Just he's not like sparkling. I don't think he's not fighting for the IndyCar Championship. That's for sure.
And people who've come directly from IndyCar with no prior European experience tend to not do brilliantly. He says, thinking Jack Villeneuve won the title, but
Yeah, and I was thinking Ron Pavel one time, but they both had European experience before Formula.
yeah.
Did Alex Zanardi?
I'm thinking you Scott Speeds, and mind you, Scott Speed did, didn't he? He was in European.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's also handbrake turn out of this alleyway.
Yep.
But you mentioned Jack Villeneuve. He's going to be testing an Alpine at the next
Yeah.
round.
Is that for TV though?
I think it's for TV. Yeah, he's going to be driving an
Yeah.
Alpine. I don't know if it's last year's car, but he's driving an Alpine.
Something.
An A110.
He's
Oh yeah, that's the first car. That took me a while.
it would. Well, he's probably a bit old, but if you could squeeze him into a car next year, that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
Just for
No
the
chance.
post-race interview bands.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? You could imagine him getting interviewed by Rosberg
I was just
after the
thinking
race.
that. Get the two of them together.
From Rosberg's cupboard.
Yeah, he's still not allowed out.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Just waiting on the American thing. Joseph Newgarden is the highest placed American driver in IndyCar this year, and he's got a chance at the title. I don't know his age and the deals there, what team he drives for, but that straight away is someone that's 6 positions better off than Colton Herta this year. And then just on the Alpine thing, there's definitely Caio Collet in F3, who's an Alpine Academy driver, and he won a race at the weekend. Just want to tick off those boxes there. This is a rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
he's nowhere near ready.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
It's weird. The driver market's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's our 1 seat left? Really, 2.
So
Williams.
So
and
the
Alpine.
Williams is open-ended, isn't it, at the minute? But the Haas one seems to be Giovinazzi again, doesn't
Yeah.
Well, Giovinazzi is going to be driving, I think, at Monza for
it? In
Magnussen
practice.
in FP1. So it looks like I do not understand that how he keeps getting back into.
I'm
F1.
happy with it.
I know you're a fanboy, Tom, but I do
Ferrari's
not
big.
understand it.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And
But
so-
why? He's never going to
Well-
drive for Ferrari.
It's because they want him to be... Well, he is their simulator driver, and they want him to drive a current spec F1 car to help corroborate the sim, but that's the story. But if that's the case, put him in your own car, because that's the one he's using on the simulator.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
So,
yeah.
He's Italian, I suppose. There's some nationalistic pride there. I don't know.
ooh, with that
But-
hair, you'd have to be.
So Mick Schumacher, going back to that, he's contract with Ferrari is just sort of not been renewed, hasn't it?
Yeah,
And that's why. Did you already say that? Sorry.
I know.
No.
That's kind of why he doesn't have the drive next year, supposedly.
Yeah, he's no longer going to be part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, because I suppose that is for up and coming drivers, and he is no longer that now.
Yeah, but Giovinazzi's still part of that, right?
I don't know if he is actually. I believe he's just their
He's just Italian.
reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Had a bad
good-
year in Formula E, but he was in the worst car.
Hmm.
And he did in the London round. He was running in the points, which would have been great, but I think he got wiped out. He didn't score a point all year.
Hmm. And Gunter Steiner says that they've got a free choice over the seat next year. It's
Does he
nothing
now?
to do with Ferrari. He says it's nothing to do with Ferrari. It's up to us. So
Gunter Steiner says a lot of
In
things.
theory.
yeah. So it'll be Giovinazzi then.
We'll see.
Shame. But there was a race at the weekend.
Oh yeah, wasn't as good as the gossip. Again.
The drama's always better than the race. So Dutch Grand Prix qualifying, I did not see because I was in Budapest. I've not caught up with that yet.
You were where?
But I was in Budapest. And Max Verstappen did take pole by 0.02 seconds. It was mad little margin,
But it could have been Hamilton,
could have been.
allegedly. Maybe not. But Perez spun on the final run, which meant the two makes couldn't complete their second run time lapse. So he spun coming out of Kumo and into Ari Leindijk, blocked.
Oh, yes, obviously.
It's going to be a big accident, actually. He was very lucky to not hit the wall, I thought.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Yeah. Just got too much speed coming up into that corner, offline, spun it around over the gravel. Bit of a disaster for Perez, because if you look, he's nowhere this weekend compared to Max.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Mercs were going to get on pole, but they might have jumped a bit higher up the grid.
According to Hamilton, he was quicker than Verstappen to the point where he had to back off. Although he was well aware that down the straight bits, the Red Bull would be quicker, so he probably wouldn't have been on pole. But it definitely would have been higher than fourth, is the theory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Leclerc was close, wasn't it, to Verstappen there, so it wasn't, in qualifying at least, a walkover.
Yeah, they were quick. Even through Q2, they're only half a tenth away from each other. But Schumacher, Tsunoda and Stroll all got through.
I mean, unfortunate for Schumacher, too little late, potentially. But that's superb performance compared to Magnussen in 18th.
Yeah, Magnussen's went a bit off the boil as well.
Weird, isn't it? He's got that 2-year deal and he's like, all right, chilling. Ricciardo 17th.
Yes.
It's a man that's got his flip-flops on.
Yeah, someone else, who was it? Jensen, I think, during the things, has said that now the pressure's off Ricciardo, he'll do really well this year. And everyone else is kind of thinking, will he though?
Now it's almost like they're resigned to just finishing out the year almost. It's weird.
Yeah.
He might get one result if it rains, I think. One of those things, and he'll be like, oh, he's still got it.
Yeah.
Stack that podium.
He's even spoken about taking a year out next year or even taking a reserve role, and he was caught talking to Perez on the way to the grid. Mm-hmm. on like a fan cam or something.
That doesn't mean it.
Saying to him that, might take a year out and come back in 2024.
Oh, you can actually hear what he was saying. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I did see a statement on speedcafe.com where he was saying, even if I do take a year out, I'm still going to try for 2020 that year.
Yeah.
After.
But back to the driver market again. The problem for Ricciardo is he's never going to get in a race winning car again, is he? Unless someone takes a huge step forward for the midfield.
Yeah, he's got to luck into it.
Yeah, he's blown it. He's blown his chance. He's blown his chance at two teams, and he's walked out on both Red Bull and Alpine once already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the leaving Red Bull wasn't initially to try and get to Ferrari, and maybe Renault was going to be a stopgap, but then the opportunity was gone anyway. So it couldn't. I mean, when you're a race winner and you want to fight for championships, you can't be number 2 to Max. So I understand some of the thinking behind leaving there.
Yeah, I do know what you mean with that, but at the same time, if you think you're good enough to be
you just take it on. Yeah.
Just beat it.
Yeah, that's it. If only you knew that.
But yeah, I mean, if you think you're that good,
I know what you mean.
Or you believe you're that good, you should be able to beat whoever your teammate is.
I was just being facetious then, sorry.
It wasn't like Max was battering them actually. No, races and everything. They were competitive with each other. I think last season, Ricciardo still finished ahead of him. Mm-hmm. He just didn't like that the team was moving away from him. But
yeah,
you'd still been for the 3 years he was away. He'd have still been in the second or third quickest car, and then the last 2 years he'd have been in the quickest car if he was still there. So he's done an Alonso. He's took himself out of a race-winning car.
Oh, whoa! Yeah. Alonso's in the Aston Martin next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
My point exactly. So,
just back in qualifying, Vettel only quicker than just Latifi, but he went off on his quickest lap in Q1 into the gravel at the penultimate corner. Yeah. So not ideal because allegedly in practice the race pace of the Aston Martin was superlative. In the race, nothing really came of it anyway, so that's why you should never look into practice times. I am HO.
So, more on qualifying, Nick?
No, that's it for me.
Was a couple of flares thrown at the track, despite them being banned, so that was good. There's a video online of a steward throwing a flare on the track, which is double good. The guy brought in to police it is chucking chucking bombs onto the track. It's fun. More complaints of bad behaviour in the crowd. Similar things that we've seen at previous races this year.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, F1's going to need to go on top of all this nonsense.
We should say that there was a €5,000 fine because Norris was really let out dangerously in front of Tsunoda during the qualifying session in the pit lane. But nothing sporting.
Okay, so on to the race.
We should talk
the
about
race.
that, shouldn't we?
Yes, on to the race. And so Hamilton, Norris and Russell in the top 10 all started on medium tyres. Trying to go for a one-stop at that point. Verstappen managed to keep the lead off the line, and Hamilton tried to nick up the inside of Sainz through turn 1. There's a bit of contact between the two, and there's a bit of floor damage on Sainz's car for the remainder of the race. It looks like the sideboard, his floor, is snapped and dangling down, so not sure how much impact that would have had on his pace, but he picked up damage at turn 1.
I mean,
I didn't realise
it
that.
wouldn't be ideal, would it? But to me, the biggest thing was how Charles Leclerc didn't have any pace, and he didn't have any contact really. When I say didn't have any, it just was. It was just like, you look at the qualifying time. Well, that's close in the race. Nah, not close.
Yeah, I think I read today that Ferrari are accepting they're going to have to take a step back because of the 4 changes, so they're going to have to run less downforce than they want to.
This came into force at Spa, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely been a bigger gap now between the two.
Yeah, so it looks like they're pretty much admitting they're going to struggle at Monza in the next few races until they get on top of it.
Have they got yellow t-shirts for Monza?
That's good. You know, it always goes well when a team runs a special livery or a special
helmet or a t-shirt merchandise. We should say in lap 1, I don't know if any of you seen Magnussen's first lap. That's special.
Yeah, that was really good. Him and Ocon.
Yeah. So he gets past someone down that straight that's not straight in the middle sector.
Yep.
Before Shivlak. And then he goes around the outside of 2 cars right there. And
because Ricardo and Albon that wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's got past Bottas before that. And Ocon follows him, does he?
Oh no, sorry, Ocon was around the outside of turn 3. He made up 2 or 3 places.
Hugenheld spot, of course.
Of course, yes. How can I forget?
Named after John Hugenholtz, who didn't design Zandvoort, which everyone thinks, but he did design Suzuka and Zolder. There we go.
Do I like Zolder? I can't remember now.
Yes, I quite liked it.
I think I did. I haven't played it on any game or seen anything on it in about a decade, but I think I liked it.
Yeah, that was it. I knew we had it on something.
Was it on Project Cars? I'm thinking back
one.
to like one of the GTR games.
Oh, it was definitely GTR as well.
Anyway, side note. I didn't.
But yeah, Magnussen's first lap, incredible. But also it shows how tentative Bottas is again.
Yeah.
I didn't see Magnussen's first lap. I've not seen that, but I did see his second lap where he went wide at turn 1 and then ran completely off at turn 2 and battered the wall, which looked so daft and clumsy. But I think it was getting dirty offline in turn 1 that caused him to lose it through turn 2.
Yeah, he had
I don't know.
Albon going down the inside of him at turn 2, and I think he then tried to take too much speed into the next bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was just trying to go around the outside of Albon, even though Albon had the line, which did work for half a second.
Yeah.
Until it got snap oversteer.
He was lucky because I don't think he really damaged the car either.
It continued the race, didn't it?
Yeah.
It slapped that wall. I think it was just side on, wasn't it? So it could have bounced back into the track as well there, so well held. But not yet. So I think he just oversped in the Gerlach box and messed up.
It sounds nicer when you do like Aqua Minerare and all that. The Dutch ones sound a bit aggressive.
I'm not mentioning one I've never even tried to read out. So that bit after, where before Stevlak, where it's like the straight bit that's not straight, it goes right, it goes left, where Tsunoda broke down basically just after that. That's called the Rob Slotmaker box. I don't know who Rob Slotmaker is, but
it's a beautiful language.
It is.
So that was lap 2 and 1.
So Russell, he dropped behind Norris at the start, but managed to take him into turn 1. Alonso dropped to 13th on lap 1 as well, so he got a pretty poor one. Hamilton's pretty quick and the tyres are degrading faster than expected, so he puts some pressure on Sainz, gets right up to the rear of Carlos, and Ferrari decide to pit Sainz. And then the usual Ferrari shenanigans begin as Sainz then pits. There is 3 people standing with tyres at the front of his car, which is a shame since there's only 2 wheels there. So the rear left, the guy's on the wrong side of the car and has to run around the full thing to then put his tyre on. So that was a 12.7 second stop, I think. Perez pitted behind him and he did a 2 second stop, which I think was the quickest of the year so far.
Yeah, the exact same for time, yeah.
Yep, and Perez, when he was exiting his box, he ran over one of the Ferrari wheel guns because
it was left astray.
They were just a mess. So, good old Ferrari making a complete mess of one of their drivers' races again.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to the pit crew, they weren't given the time to prepare, but it's still Ferrari's strategy error. It was such a late call that they just weren't ready for him.
How long has Binotto got left, do you think?
He's got till the end of the year. Yeah.
Do you think? Ooh, it's generous. He does that at Monza, he's out. And when I say he, obviously, the team, and it's not probably his fault, but he's responsible for it ultimately. And they need a scapegoat.
Yeah. The team operationally is a shambles.
However, Benny to Benny. Oh no, is that goodbye?
No, that's
that's the last person who was there.
Oh no, that's no, what was he actually called now?
Oh God, we're going. It wasn't even Benny.
Arriva Benny. Oh right, yeah.
You're thinking of
Arrivederci, which is goodbye, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Right. We proved earlier on this podcast we're terrible with Italian names, especially when they come to Ferrari. So
I shouldn't even tried it.
So well done. So yeah, we'll get to the end of the year, but if they're still a complete shambles at the end of this year or start next year, he'll be gone.
That was worse than a Ferrari strategy, wasn't it?
So then we see that Mick and Seb have a nice little fight side by side.
But what I don't understand is why is Mick so far down at this point? I know he had his little slow start, so he was down to 10th from 8th or something. But then for the rest of the race, he's fighting for 12th, 13th, 14th. So there's something in the strategy gone wrong there, or he wasn't quick enough. But I just thought, bit of a shame he had this good qualifying. And on paper, without knowing the full context, an average race.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be virtual safety car caught out, I don't know.
Yeah, he seemed to be fighting with Vettel a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a couple of tests, didn't they? But but you should have been fighting for points with Stroll. Wrong Aston Martin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure why he dropped down, actually, because there wasn't anything obvious to say what it was.
Yeah, the other thing I didn't understand was how Alonso was so high up at one point after all the safety cars.
He said he did 72 qualifying laps.
Yeah, I know, but he always says that.
Yeah.
So that's how he got to 6. There wasn't.
He did do one less stop than people from 10th down, so I don't know.
He was one of the first people to sort of commit to a one stop, wasn't
he? Yeah, he came in quite early to go on it.
So then next day he's done at a certain point in the race, so he's done one stop, and other people have done 2, and they're expecting for him to do another or something. But then the virtual safety car comes out and he gets fresh tyres anyway.
Yeah.
Then that's got to be the benefit, right? Okay.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of on-track passes that. Again, I didn't watch the race live. I watched the Channel 4 highlights, so I don't know if stuff's been cut. But there wasn't a lot of midfield passes that.
No, really they generally don't cut anything that's actually important.
So most of this must have been strategy.
Yeah, it was a strategy race. Pure and simple, I thought.
So Max pits to the lead, drops behind both Mercedes. It quite easily passes Russell into turn 1, which then brings Hamilton in. He goes in the hard, tending to go at the end, and Max will have to stop again. But it looks at this point that Hamilton's at least in the fight for the win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still don't think at this point he would.
No.
The pace difference is so big. He would have been there at the lead, which would have been nice, and he would have probably finished second, right?
Yeah, it's one of those in that it depended how the tyres would have degraded, because Max would have been on the mediums and Lewis would have been on the hards at that point, and the mediums did seem to drop off quite a bit. So
Still, he's half a second to, or maybe a bit more per lap quicker, probably at least.
Yeah, they did say you have to be a second and a half quicker to overtake you. I'm not sure that's true. That's what they said pre-race.
The Red Bull's so quick in a straight line as well, though.
It is.
It's not just about the lap time, is it? No, well, we'll never know, right?
No, it did rob us of that.
Knowing that, yeah. And I'm fully on board with Hamilton's message to the safety car beat them. I don't have any problem with that. I don't know why people are annoyed by that, because that's true.
Yeah, it would completely mess up their strategy.
But the virtual safety car was just unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
That was not their going. But then, we're probably jumping ahead a bit, but then when things did happen, I don't really understand why Russell pitted and Hamilton didn't. I think that apparently the strategy was not to, and Russell overrode that.
Yeah, they were talking to Russell saying that they were going to split them, and he was going to be staying out when the safety car came out. And then
I think it made sense to split them, but it probably should have been Hamilton that came in. Yeah.
Well, that seemed to be the initial message to Russell, but then the message never went to Hamilton that it was going to pit. So the crew was still debating it at that point.
But they decided to take a punt, but the tyres just weren't. Then they didn't have enough grip. They were reasonably fresh, weren't they? But they were used to the wrong compound.
Yeah,
Wasn't going to work.
No. But after the first stop, Hamilton tried to overtake Perez round outside of turn 1.
Oh, yes.
Checo closed the door on him. A lap later, Hamilton then gets his job done round outside, but then Vettel comes out of the pits and decides to park in front of him for half a lap, which
I thought that was bad, though.
That was bad.
Yeah,
That was bad. I thought he got a reprimand, I think, and a penalty for it. But that was poor from him, and
it's really obviously bad. Like on the team radio, as it's coming out of the pit lane, they're like, "Oh, you're going to be clear of Ricciardo, but watch out for Hamilton and Perez. They're fighting for position," and didn't.
Yeah, he should have been slowing down on that pit exit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once he got in front, there really wasn't anywhere for him to pull over till he did, but he shouldn't have been in front for me.
Fully on board with that. And it was one of the worst blockings I've seen in a long time. I should say it before that, when Hamilton fails to get past Perez, and it looks like Hamilton's a bit tentative. Because Perez is moving wide, and Hamilton could have gone that curb, but didn't. He sort of backed out. I thought it was really clever, because in all the F3 races, if you went side by side there, if you ended up on that curb, it sucked you off the track. It was quite an aggressive curb, and so it raised the car off, on the what do you call it, the plank underneath? I don't know if you call it that. But
it is, yeah.
Basically, it pushed you off into the gravel or potentially the wall there. So maybe Hamilton had seen that in the F3 races and gone, all right, I'm backing out. Because I think someone later on in the race did skirt with it, and they lost a lot of momentum.
Checo.
There
tried
you
to
go,
get around outside his signs. And lost a lot.
Yeah.
Russell pulled the same move from Perez a couple hours later, and then Yuki Tsunoda occurred, which let one of you guys try and explain.
That's impossible.
I'll leave this one to Tom, I think.
What happened? So he pits, he comes out and he pulls over just after Hunzerg, I'll go with, which is after Hugenholtzbocht. And so he pulls off to the right, and it's clearly not safe. So to me, it's going to be virtual safety cars. Apparently, at this point, we didn't realise, but it's under his belt because he thinks the wheels come off. Basically, it feels weird. Tyres not fitted properly. Then the weirdest thing ever. Oh, sorry. On the radio. Tyres are fine. Come back. Oh, all right. That's weird. So he drives them very slowly with his belts undone. Comes to the pit lane. They fit new tyres again, and then they faff around with his belts. As soon as he comes out, no, it's still broken. He's putting steering lock on a straight line. So then they're told, stop. And he pulls over basically at the same place again, but on the other side of the circuit. And then it does cause a virtual safety car. And it's still not necessarily clear, but it's believed to be a diff issue was the problem. But then the conspiracy theory started because, it's an AlphaTauri, which is owned by Red Bull. this gave a virtual safety car, which meant Max could pit and stay ahead of Hamilton, which, as we just covered too early, I jumped the gun. Without that, Hamilton might have been in the lead at some point, and then Max would have to be chasing him down. So it robbed the fans of an interesting strategic race. It gave Red Bull an easy win, and AlphaTauri looked like idiots. The only thing that happened was Yuki got reprimanded for not having seatbelts. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
Well done.
All right, no worries. I've retired from the rest of the podcast now. I'm just here to say Colin Innes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the conspiracy theories are daft, but
Yeah.
the internet went well to them, but
I could see how they generated that. Because
but
not just from the scenario, the fact that AlphaTauri couldn't really explain it, or Yuki Tsunoda in the post-race interview, so you're like, all right, what's going on here?
yeah.
I think that actually caused the conspiracy theories more than the incident.
Yeah, I think, though, if there was a genuine conspiracy to do that, they would have just parked him in the first place. It's the whole bringing back to the pits thing. Is more about trying to get him going again.
Yeah. Well, no, wait. Oh, hang on. The virtual safety car wasn't thrown the first time. We'll try again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I agree with you. Daft, stupid. I mean, if Flavio Briatore was working for them, I'd maybe think, yeah, maybe. But the rest of it just seemed daft. So I think both Verstappen and both Mercedes pitted at this point. At least Hamilton did. Got fresh tyres.
Yeah, I think they all did.
Get going again, and then Valtteri Bottas stops at the end of the start-finish straight with engine issues. Sainz then overtakes just into a yellow flag. He overtakes Ocon. He thinks he's just ahead when the yellow flag was flown. FIA disagree, and I think he gets a penalty for that.
I'm not sure. I know he got a penalty for the unsafe
Oh,
release.
damn it. I was hoping you guys would know. All I could find was he got a penalty for the unsafe release,
Yeah, I thought that was the only one he got.
which I can see it.
thought it got both. But let me
Let's
look.
balls and Google.
Live Google search.
Yeah, can you make a jingle for that, please?
So he just saved himself apparently from a penalty with the yellow flag. He just lifted off, or he had just got ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so this reminds me of British Touring Car 1. Was it last year? Was it Rory Butcher at Silverstone? Where
Yeah,
there is
so
clear
they got-
yellow flag. So are you saying that you can overtake as long as it's 3 millimetres in front of it, but you can still see it, and then you can't overtake as you've gone past it? That's the grey area here. But
I think the flag was literally flown as he was alongside there. I know the incident had occurred, but the flag wasn't there until that
Right.
point. But at the same time, you can see the car in front
from the
of you.
stills, it's not looking good.
But also on the radio, I know on the Best of Team radio thing, they said it about the pit stop, but what he said on the radio was that it was not unsafe. He was referring to that incident.
Is that what it was? I was so confused when I watched that.
Yeah.
So he's talking about...
He said that he elongated the braking. So what he means by that is that Gasly then didn't brake as hard as Sainz, so it looked like he was still ahead.
Oh, okay. My interpretation of that was the driver reacting to him being unsafe on the pit stop exaggerated the braking. But no.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm certain it's to do with the bit on the pit straight, 'cause I'm sure they played it there during the race.
The team did say
originally.
give the position back, and it did.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened. Weird. I also noticed that the yellow board was not flashing, was it? So it must have been a very quick flag waiver, which props to them. But the system hadn't kicked
Yeah.
in. Although it doesn't matter if the system has or not. That one or the other overrules, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So he was up and happy after the race about the penalty he did get, which was for an unsafe release during the safety car period. The McLaren pitted with him, so he says he tried to pull out his pit box, had to slam on the brakes to not hit a McLaren mechanic, which then caused him to bog down and made it unsafe in front of an Alpine. He says that it shouldn't be a penalty because I've just took action to save someone's life,
Oof.
as in the McLaren mechanic.
Right.
Yeah.
So he doesn't think that was deserved, but the Alpine did have to slam on the
Yeah,
brakes.
well,
in the pit
I thought
lane.
it was deserved, even if there's an unfortunate circumstance. So it's a 5-second penalty,
Yep.
done.
I feel sorry
Yep.
for him, but yeah, You can't really argue it. He wasn't released unsafely as such. At the point they said that he can go, if he'd have gone smoothly, it would have gone, but it didn't. So
No, but it's a tight pit lane, and it just I think the uniqueness of the circuit made it a bit tough.
Yeah.
So under the safety car, Max, Leclerc and Russell, among others, get soft tyres. So at the restart, Max immediately overtakes Hamilton.
Yes.
Which, yeah, I don't know if it's a mistake from Lewis or just he had no chance. But
he was in the wrong engine mode.
But he would have no chance anyway.
On the lead up to as they exited the final corner, which is called
Harry Lyndike box.
Well, actually, no, I'll say the final corner, the one before the banking.
Oh, that's just called Kuma after a tyre run. Very boring.
Yeah, on the way out of that corner, he had it in the lower engine mode, and then switched to the correct engine mode as they got to the straight. So they say it wouldn't have made a difference. Max would have got him anyway, but it certainly didn't help. He was just slightly slower off the corner. He's 160 horsepower down at that point.
It was like that. Was it Brake Magic? Remember that?
Azerbaijan, yeah.
Yeah, totally off topic here, but in the best of team on board, did you hear them referring to the funk on the Haas?
No.
No, sorry. They said check funk.
Oh, they did. Yeah, to Mick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It must be
know what that
function.
was?
Short for function.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But funk with
really
a K
confused.
sounds cool, doesn't it? It's like party mode or something.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That was Hamilton's issue, I think.
Yeah. End of the race, then he tries to defend from Russell on the main straight. He is absolutely raging over the team radio. Understandable.
No, it's not Colin. I think it is, yeah.
Kind of. He did apologise after the race, but at that point you can see why he's peed off.
The fact that the team fully backed him as well, like on that team radio on the warm cooldown lap. The team are like, sorry, and Toto's like, really sorry. They're not annoyed at him for being annoyed. They understand it.
Yeah. But he ends up dropping to fourth because Leclerc easily passes him as well. Perez behind Sainz, who's got the 5-second penalty, but he still tries to make the overtake around the outside of turn 1.
Thousand boxed.
And Sainz puts him in the gravel. And eventually Sainz drops down to 8th, giving Perez 5th. Alonso had tried that move on Norris as well earlier in the race, and Norris squeezed him out. But Alonso ended up finishing 6th in front of the McLaren. So Alpine are going pretty well. Doesn't help.
I don't think they were that quick though. Yeah, I feel like they were advantageous with the strategy on the PSC.
Definitely.
Yeah, but they're picking up points, and McLaren are fighting that fight one-handed most weeks.
I think this race though, Norris was quicker than them. I think it was just unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And also, props for Norris to getting Russell in the first half. I know it was futile, but at least showed the fight.
It was a nice little move as well.
So is the title over now, Tom?
Oh, we've discussed this. It's long gone.
Yeah, I think it's over 100 points now.
Yeah, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm quite glad I only watched the highlights of this and not live, because it was kind of interesting, but it was certainly not a great racetrack, I don't think, for F1.
The only thing I would say about the highlights, and I really do enjoy Channel 4, but I don't know why, for whatever reason, Coulthard was not commentating this race at all. I don't know if he was otherwise engaged, ill holiday, so we had Webber.
He was there.
Oh, right, but he wasn't on the comms. So...
Because he did the post-race interviews.
Ah, right, yeah. Now, his production company has the deal for Formula 1 on Channel 4, but also Formula 1 in Sweden. I wondered if this was a thing where, I'll do this race for the Swedish lot. Viasat, is
Maybe.
it? I think Ricardo Redell's involved. Epic. Anyway. The
Swedish Shuffle.
Yeah. So, anyway, Mark Webber was a bit average, I thought. What do you think? It's quite funny when he makes a high-pitched noise. But...
Yeah, I didn't watch it myself, so...
Yeah, he's alright, Webber. I
just prefer Coulthard.
I wouldn't pick him. In my lineup.
Yeah, I was listening to Crofty and Button.
Oh, was there no Martin this week?
No,
How was
Jensen in the
Jensen?
box.
I thought I watched qualifying highlights. I thought he waffled on a bit, but
He does a bit. I think it's interesting when Jensen does it. You get a few different bits.
Oh, good.
But he's not a good commentator, but he has good.
so he
moments
could
and good
be
opinions.
better in the Ted Kravitz role, maybe. Speak
Possibly. I think he could be a good commentator if he had
Right,
time. He's only done the odd guest appearance.
Also, the whole Crofty Kravitz thing was it free practice? That is awkward as hell. What's that about?
Oh,
man.
Yeah, I've not watched that.
You've got to watch that.
Is it bad?
What?
It was just even Crofty was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Can we just replace Ted with a brick or something for the next few races? Because it adds absolutely nothing. to the
Basically,
coverage.
Crofty was like, he's obviously been told in his ear, it's all been lined up. Right, we're over to Ted Kravitz is going to tell us about Alpine. And Ted goes, yeah, but we've got the ad break coming up, and then there's not only one car on track. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it, sorry. And then Crofty's like, what? Are you going to... Oh, this is really awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not like Ted Kravitz in any which way. I think I've made that clear over the years.
Yeah, I know. I actually quite enjoy him for that same reason, though. The cringe for me is just funny.
Oh, no.
I mean, what else are you going to watch when it's free practice, to be
Yeah.
fair?
Yeah, I could do without the cringe.
Although Crofty keep mentioning, oh, you can press the red button. And speaking of buttons, Jensen, what's your opinion?
Just
no.
Please sack him as well. Just sack the lot of them. Start again. Oh, dear.
Once was
I know
acceptable,
he has to say the red button.
but he did it multiple times over the weekend. And even Jensen
really?
kept going, oh, God.
He's thought that one through. Because, yeah, one thing does know about Sky is they have clearly an obligation to say the red button, especially if it's like a quarter through the race. If you missed the start and you've just started now, press the red button. Let's get us like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
It must be annoying for the American viewers because
Well, yeah.
That's
Or
very true.
Australian. Yeah.
they all get the Sky feed, so that must drive them up the wall.
Who presses red
dear.
buttons anymore? That was like a thing when Freeview first came out. It was like, whoa, the future's going to be a press red
Yeah.
button. I don't know anyone who does that anymore.
No.
My dad uses it on Sky Sports too because you can watch back the football highlights at mid game now.
Yeah, that's what you can do with the F1, but most of the time, people don't use it.
So Leclerc and Perez 11 points for second.
Woo.
Woo, interesting. And Mercedes are now only 30 points behind Ferrari. So Mercedes are going to finish second.
Mind you, there's Monza next, so they shouldn't be good there.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so this weekend we're at Monza. Italian Grand Prix special colours
This weekend?
for...
Wow.
It is. I hope. It is. Stop making me doubt myself.
No,
I'm
I
crap
was
at
just surprised.
calendars, but yeah, this weekend at Monza, where Max Verstappen will probably lap everyone. Because that Red Bull will be about 40 miles an hour quicker than anyone down that straight.
Yes. I'm going to agree with that. Sorry, it's boring.
Yep.
That's
So
true.
we'll be back next week for Italy. Any final predictions?
Oh,
Well, mine have been crap the last few races, so no.
go on, go for it.
Well, I said Russell to win last time.
Oh, I thought you were joking. I thought it was ironic.
No, I actually thought he was going to.
I mean, if it was any track, it would be that one.
Let's just say some funky weather. Let's put Sonoda.
Funk weather.
Yes.
The current weather forecast is rain all weekend.
Oh.
So
Yuki. There we go. He's got the Honda engine power, and he's Japanese. He knows all
And that
about
car might be like the old Toro Rosso in the wet.
Exactly.
I just wanted to mention, I mentioned Rob Slotmaker earlier. I mispronounced that. I think it's Slotmaker. So, apologies. AKA Snoop fans.
Didn't he used to work for Sky Electric?
No, he was a Dutch racing. Get this right. He's got a car named after him, or a straight. He was a Dutch racing driver. He once entered a Formula One race in 1962 Dutch Grand Prix, but his car was not ready in time, and his entry was taken by someone else. Brilliant. I just wanted to quickly mention F2. You've got Felipe Drugovich smashing it, and no one gives a crap about him in Formula One. And I think that's a shame. Won again on the weekend, so the championship's easily his.
there was a conversation between him and Helmut Marko that was commented on, but apparently it was nothing.
It was something like, sorry, we decided 4 years ago who our next star is, and you're not it.
Yeah.
It seems to be like, yeah, if you're not in one of these teams' driver programs early doors, even if you win F2, you don't get a drive, which is a bit of a shame. So, yeah, I just want to say that. And also, Tatiana Calderon she lost her IndyCar drive, but she's in F2, so let's see how she progresses. And also, final point, Seb Montoya, Juan Pablo Montoya's son, raced in F3 for the first time on the weekend. And he was impressive, I thought. He was in the top 10. I don't know the end result, but he was fighting in the top 10, overtaking, defending, being overtaken. He was in the mix on his first F3 race weekend. So let's keep our eyes peeled. Hopefully he gets a full year next year.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. So we'll be back next week with the Italian Grand Prix review, the Formula 1 Pirelli Gran Premio d'Italia.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Better than my Italian.
Yeah. Wouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be back next week. Thank you for the time. Thanks, Tom and Nick, and see you then.
Arriva bene.
Cembolo Bassi.